Good morning. Welcome to December and our first class of our historical weapons programming for this month. We have been working along on our saber. We've got a lot of our basic cut angles and directions. We've been talking about thrusts and deflections. We've been working both arms so that we get a little bit of a light weights workout at the beginning of each class, building up that coordination and building up the strength of the weapon. And we got set to our first turnaround kind of sections where we're turning, we're coming back in another direction. So why don't we keep on rolling today, and we're going to add a little bit more to our set today. So we're going to settle the feet in the ground. We'll get warmed up a little bit first. Just let the head rise and fall. And a little bit of loosening off from side to side. And we'll go ear to one shoulder and hang. And the other. And just a gentle roll in the front. Okay, let's go to the shoulders. So we'll roll those shoulders back. And then we can roll the shoulders forward. And then we're going to cross the arms, rise up, out to the sides and down. And we'll do the same the other way, round and down. And a bit of a reach and stretch to one side and the other. And then we'll loosen up the trunk, let the arms go nice and loose and wrap around the body. So we turn the trunk from side to side, let the arms go. Good. And then we're going to cradle one arm across in the front. Get those shoulders ready for taking on the weapon. And over the head and pull. And same on the other arm. And then behind the back and pull. And same on the other side. Shake it out a little bit. We've been warming up the wrists. Letting them roll one way. And around the other. One more time, the first way. And the second. And we've been doing some stretch, so we're pulling back on the fingers. And we'll do the same on the other side. And then we're going to drop the hand down and push on the knuckles in. And same on the other side. A little bit of grip and warmth so you can kind of grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Good. Okay, loosening up the hips. Last bit for the warm-up today. Go around one way. And around the other. Good. Okay, let's pick up our weapons and let's get ourselves started today. So we've been working through our cut angles as part of our warm-ups, part of our strengthening routine. So let's start with our downwards diagonals. So we're going down, roll over, cut through. And we're talking about how we really want to spend the time and the focus to get a sense that we are meshing our edge angle and our cut angle together. So we don't want to be scalloping the blade in either direction. We want those two angles to work together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for reach and drawing the cut. We want to hit and pull. Cut with the edge. We're drawing the edge. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's go to our non-dominant arm and downwards diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch up to our rising diagonals. And one of the ones I find with this that people have to watch for is you're not kind of sweeping the floor, but again, you're reaching out far ahead of you. You're getting that edge angle meshed up with the cut, and you're cutting from hip to shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let's go to the other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Heading to our horizontals. So we're cutting across, we're turning over, we're pressing and pulling back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll change hands. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice. Let's go to our downwards vertical on the same side of the body. So we're cutting down, coming over, cutting down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll switch arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching arms and going to across the body. So first one I was on the same side. Now I'm bringing it over to the opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let's do some wrist strengthening work. So we're going to roll underneath and up, underneath and up. So instead of those big arcs for our rising, we're going to get these little shifts in the wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We talked about these can often be our deflections. Deflecting on one side or the other, picking up one way, picking up the other. Let's work that wrist the other way. So we're down, deflecting, deflecting. So this one works a lot for back of the edge, back of the spine of the blade, deflecting from side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go to the other arm and rising with the wrist 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, we've talked about how we're going to work on the techniques of the sword, but also on using it as a way of strengthening the body, much more interesting than holding on to a light dumbbell and going through techniques. 8, 9, 10, and then the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, let's go to a technique. We'll do it on both sides. It's something that's coming up in the set shortly. So we've been working on that chop and return as part of our warm-up. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go around the body and chop. Around the body and chop. So around, chop. That roof we were talking about in the beginning, deflecting, chopping. We drape it across the back and chop. So 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll talk about the other hand in a moment. 9, 10. Let's work it on the other arm. Around and chop. Around and chop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay. Should be getting some warmth into those arms. So let's go to the walk pattern that we've been practicing for the last few weeks. So in this walk pattern, we were talking about how we're kind of stepping in for our cut. So we were taking the section here, we kind of lifted up and came underneath, and we're going step through, lead leg, lead arm cut, roll back, step 1, and step 2. So we roll back, and we've got 2 steps. 1, 2, I cut with my right leg out, roll back, 1, 2, I cut with my left. Let's keep that going for a few repetitions today. So we go step, cut, draw back, step, step, cut. 1, we have the hand back behind us. 2, we're kind of reinforcing, kind of holding on and rising up together. So 1, hand is behind, lead leg. 2, coming through at the opposite leg, reinforced. 1, lead leg. 2, come through reinforced. Let's just do 5 more of that pattern. So 1, and then the second arm, 2, and the second arm, stepping through, 3, and the second arm as we step through, 4, and second arm, and 5, and second arm. There was one other pattern that we've been sort of meshing into our warm-ups, and that's the deflect, spiral, and thrust. And we were talking about how that thrust starts with the edge down and then spirals to the edge facing in. And we were brushing our legs. We brush and thrust. We deflected as we roll back. We brush. We thrust as we come forward. Deflect, brush, thrust, deflect, brush, thrust, roll, come through, roll, come through, two more, roll, press it out, last one, roll, and press. Okay, so what were we working on in the set last time we got together? We were working on this raising up and settling in. We are working on that, and we're also working on this over the head, turning and thrusting out. And we're turning over the sword when we thrust out. So I have this kind of push. Let's try that a few times. Bring it in. And here we're going to spiral the sword and push it out and away. So we go in, out, edge up, edge down, in, out, in. Push through to thrust. Draw in, spiral to thrust. Draw in, spiral to thrust. Four more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what was tricky with that thrust was that we were having to change angles. We were in a position where we had pressed out and we had the sword up high, and then we were doing this inside turn and dropping the sword on the shoulder, turning, opening up the foot so we could then thrust out. So initially, I got my sword facing to this corner of the studio, and when I turn, I have my sword facing the other corner of the studio. My studio's a little rectangle, so I'm not quite to the corners. And then we're going to push out. Hard one to kind of figure out. So let's say our left leg is forward, and we've got our hands up. From here, as we draw in our left hand, we put the weight in the right leg. We settle the sword over to our right shoulder, and we finish turning in with our left leg. Here, we're going to kind of keep turning, so we're now looking in that 45-degree direction. And then as we lift up the left leg, we're going to thrust out. Now we finish that by stepping through. So let's angle this up a little bit more like we'll have it in the set. I'm going to do it running up and down the studio. So let's start out with our first side. So we had done a 1, 2. We had come through 3 and stepped to our 45 with that reinforced reinforced cut we were working on. We then drop that down, pull in the left leg, and to the 45, we press that back up. Now we start to shift. We draw in, we turn out, we look over the right shoulder, and then we thrust and step and palm. So that's the section we're working on last week. So let's do a couple of those in one direction, a couple in the other, so you can see different details from different sides. So let's just take it from our rising reinforced cut. So we shift our weight back. We're facing 45 degrees to our to the line, and then we press out. We do an inside turn. We do an outside turn. We cup the hand across the other arm, and then we launch our thrust, and then we stepped in with a palm strike. One more time from this angle. So I've stepped through with that reinforced cut, and then I'm going draw in and down. I'm kind of turning this palm in towards my left, in towards the body, and then I push that palm out and I drive the sword up over the head. I'm then turning in, sword is over shoulder. I'm turning out, I'm kind of scooping across, turning into the hook stance, thrusting in crane stance, and then stepping to forward bow as I do a palm strike. Let's do that from another angle. So I've gone step through into my reinforced cut. It's over the head. I sink back. I bring the sword down to shoulder level. Left palm is in towards the body. And then I'm pressing out to my forward bow stance again. Now I start to turn. Inside turn, sword's going over the head. Outside turn, sword's kind of resting around that shoulder area. And then as I lift up the leg, I thrust out. And I've got my hand in the armpit. I've got the edge of the sword down. And then I'm going to step through to palm. We're going to do that 2 more times in this direction. So under, step, cut up, draw in, press out, turn in, turn out, cradle, thrust, step, palm. Last one. So under, reinforced cut, settle back, step out, raise the sword up, turn in, sword goes over the shoulder, turn out, left hand comes around, and then we thrust out, and then we palm strike. Okay, tricky turnaround, lots going on in that. We're going to add one more piece to the puzzle today as we keep building block up our set. So we did a bit of a warm-up today. Around and chop, around and chop. Now we're going to add some handwork to that because we're going to go close in. So we're kind of framing ourselves here. Then as we come across the back, we're going to brush the hip. And as we chop, we're going to raise that left hand over the head to chop down. So we're going to go under, kind of hollowing the body, brush the leg, chop down with the left hand up over the head. 1, 2, 3. 1, brush, chop. So the left hand's making this arc. In, down, over. In, down, brush, over. Timing wise, as I deflect with the sword over and around, I'm bringing the hand in. As I brush the leg, I'm bringing this hand over the head, and I want the hand and the sword to kind of arrive at the same time. Boom. So I'm going 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, but there's footwork. And what is that footwork? So I've done my thrust and step to palm. So now I'm going to roll back. I'm going to step forward and into a hook stance. I'm going to brush the leg, and then I'm going to chop down. So I'm going to do that just a little smoother, and then I'll break it down a little bit for you. So I had my thrust, and here I go around, brush, and chop. A couple more times in this direction, then we'll take it the other way. So what are we doing with those feet? We've got a forward bow position. Here, as I roll back, I'm starting to bring everything in. As I start to roll forward, I'm deflecting. As I step to that hook, I'm kind of hand behind and wound up. Then I'm going to brush and chop. So I'm going for the footwork. I'm going forward bow, hook stance, forward bow, forward. So I'm rolling back and then I go hook stance and forward bow. I'm kind of passing through the crane position as I come up into this one as well. So we've got our thrust out. So we shift back just a little to close this up. We're stepping out. We're brushing and we're chopping. One, two, three. One, two, brush, chop. Last time in this direction. So I had that thrust out from behind and I've stepped into my palm strike. I roll back. I deflect. I step in. I drape. I lift the leg to brush. I raise that left arm as I chop. So if I head from the other direction, I've got my thrust out to palm. I'm going roll back, come around, hook stance, brush, chop. We'll do it 2 more times and we'll put it into the set. So I've got my thrust out and my palm out. I go 1, 2 with the feet, lift, brush, chop. Last time, I have thrusted out and palm struck. I go roll, hook stance, brush, chop. Then we're going to deflect and step in. We'll get to that next week. Okay, time is doing its usual thing. It's zipping on by. So why don't we try going through the set to what we've done so far. So we'll start out, feet it nice and underneath close together. We've got our opening out to the side and our resting down, stepping out. We pivot on the right leg. We raise up the sword. We shift our weight back into the right leg. And then we stomp. We drop the sword. We come up into a pong position with the sword resting on the hand. Now we brush the left leg as we step back. We circulate the sword up and under like we were doing as a foundation earlier. And we have the right hand over the head. Here I'm going to turn the trunk towards the center. I'm going to balance the sword on my arm and I'm going to lift up my left leg, touch my wrist. I'm going to step out with that left leg. I'm going to cut low. Then we go deflect. Here's that one we were working on as a foundation. Brush and thrust. We then cut back and we pressed out with our first reinforced block. Here we did that circuit down. Sword went down as we stepped back. Sword went up as we lifted into crane. And we pressed that out high. Now we pick up the sword over the head, lift up into crane with the right leg. Then step out, lift up into crane with the left as we chop. Now we're coming underneath. 1, here's the sequence we were working on, cut under. Then we're going to roll back And step 1, 2 with our reinforced block. We then draw in the sword, draw in the left foot. Press up the sword, press out into a forward bow, right, left hand out. Now we turn in, sword goes over the shoulder, turn out, cup the wrist, and thrust behind. Then we're going to get our new stuff. So our palm strike, and we're going to roll back, deflect, hook stance, brush, chop. Okay, I think we can squeeze, well, we're out of time, but let's squeeze one more round through today. So, 1 and 2, step, pivot, rise, roll back, stomp, come forward, present, brush with the right hand, circle the sword around, tip facing out, gather, transfer, lift, step, cut, deflect, brush, thrust, cut under, and step to reinforce. Down and up. Press up high. Underneath, lift the right leg. Chop, lift the left. Circle under. Step through, rising cut with lead leg. Roll back. Settle. Step out and rising cut. Reinforce. Draw in. Press out. Drop the sword, turn in, turn out, cup the hand on the wrist, thrusting out to the 45. Step through palm strike, roll back, deflect, drape, brush, chop. Okay, have to leave it there for today. Nice thing is with our stuff on the archive, you want to get a few more repetitions of the set. It will be up on the archive within the next 10 minutes or so, and you can come back and just work that section a few more times if you'd like. All right. Thanks for training today. If you got any questions, stick around. We'll take those, or only an email away from bringing your question into the next class with an answer for you. Thanks for training today.